All right, here we are, day 5. I was going to jump on this morning because I was going to say, Good morning, Vietnam. How many of you remember that movie? And thinking about Robin Williams, who was one of the greatest comedians, greatest actors ever, and he struggled. So, what I'm saying is that we all struggle in our own little ways, but you may not even know it because sometimes we're comedians, sometimes we're actors, and we put on different faces. And unfortunately, he died by his own hand because he was struggling. So, the reason why I bring this up is because sometimes you never know what somebody is going through. And yesterday, I told you that this was going to be all about you, and I was going to give you some tips and tricks that would help you with your own mental wellness. So that's where I'm going to begin. My first tip is I know it's like kind of cliche though. Like everybody says, you need to exercise, you need to work out. It's so great for you. But what I can say is being I think I'm like 8 or 9 weeks post-op, I was not able to do my morning routine, which is Kinergy. Most amazing dance, energy, movement, body, exercise that I have found. And we have our little group with the Transformation Academy that does it every morning. And I miss them so much being able to do it daily. Well, I tried on Saturday and I was like, oh my gosh, I can do it. So I started this morning waking up again at 5:55 a.m. to do Kinergy. And it is so great. It makes me feel energized in the morning, even though I wake up really, really early. And it just overall body wise, because it is more about this energy and like really getting deep into the elements of the earth. So they go through um, earth, fire, air, and water. And it's just really cool. So if you haven't checked out Kinergy, it is Julia Huff. She is the creator, and it's all like body movement, energy, dance. Super cool. So that's one of the first things that I do is it gives me more of this like dance meditation, and it's exercise and it's fun. I don't have to like go to the gym and like do some weights. I can just do Kinergy in the morning. So if you need something like get your body moving and it doesn't really feel like exercise, Kinergy is awesome. So that's my first is yes, exercise, as cliche as it is. Exercise is really good for your body. The second thing is to my brain just went bleh. The second thing that I like to do and would recommend is Tony Robbins. It's his morning, well, it could be morning, day, whatever. But it only takes you 15 minutes and I just forgot the name of it. Oh my gosh, my brain is like not working right now. It's been a busy day. It's a Monday. Um, man. Well, life is not going exactly how I was thinking that it would go. See, nobody's perfect. I am not perfect. I very rarely write things down. Every once in a while I do, but then every once in a while I don't. And then whatever I'm going to say just goes right out of my brain. But Tony Robbins has a great, I'm going to find it because I think it's that important. Bear with me 1 second. Hold on. Hold on. Where is it? All right. Anyways, so it's like this gratefulness technique. Wow. Oh, priming. That's what it's called. So it's a priming exercise. So I will drop all the links into my comments because my brain clearly is not functioning. And again, I'm not perfect. But so a priming technique, it literally only takes 15 minutes, if that. Basically, what you do is you think of all these things that you are super grateful for, because you cannot be grateful and depressed and or sad at the same time of being grateful. I'm telling you, try it. If you're like super depressed and you are whatever is happening, you're really sad, think about something that you're grateful. All it has to be is one small little thing. And again, you cannot be grateful and sad or depressed at the same time. So my other tips, yeah, I actually wrote these down. I should probably pull them out before I start doing it live. My other tip actually is a practice gratitude, but I think that the priming exercise with Tony Robbins is one of the best ways to really figure out what you're grateful for, because he actually walks you through the whole entire process, and it's just amazing. The other thing that I say is find a way to release your happy juices. It could be through exercise, it could be through meditation, it could be through talking to your friend, it could be through talking to your dog, talking to your cat, whatever it may be, going and volunteering. We should all have a charity bucket that we pull from. And that bucket could be monetary things, it could be volunteering, helping, whatever it is. So for me, what I do is I was part of this group, and it was called Wealth Wednesday. And that was what he used to do all the time. And so I really try to practice that as much as possible. And I know about a month ago, I was asking for examples of what I could do for Wealth Wednesday. And I started doing that about a week or so ago. So the first thing that I did is I put $1 in a diaper box at Target, and kind of just like shoved it in. And my son, because I'm like, do you want to see what I'm doing? And then he's like, wait, trying to dig it out. And I was like, no, 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 no. You leave it in there so that somebody can find it. And he's like, well, pull it out so they can see it. I'm like, well, no, you don't want them to see, because then what if like a worker comes by or something and they grab the money? But so I like shoved it down in there, and he was trying to go after it. Pretty funny. The second thing that I did was buy a coffee for somebody behind me. And this is a funny thing, because I'm like, I really want to do something nice. And I'm driving up to Starbucks. There is no line. There's nobody coming from either direction. And I'm like, how in the heck am I going to buy somebody's coffee if there's no cars anywhere? So I sat, before you turn into the driveway, I like sat in the middle of the road. It's not like middle of the road, but it's in the middle of that road. And I was watching, and I was like, there's got to be one car that comes. Come on. I can't want to do something nice and there's no cars. So I saw a car finally come up, and I order, and then they pull behind me, and I went up to the window, and I was like, hey, can you do me a favor and pay for the person behind me? And she's like, I hate to tell you, but there is nobody behind you. And I was like, no, 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 no. I know that there was a car that pulled in behind me. Can you please pay for their coffee? And she's like, oh, yeah, they actually just ordered. And then, funny enough, I drove around, and then there's a freaking line. Like a line that I had to go around to get out of that area. I was like, are you kidding me? There are 5 cars now in the drive-through when there weren't any to be found. So anyways, that's my story about Starbucks. I'm wanting to do something nice. The other thing that I did was I have a neighbor that has been going through some really, 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 really tough times. And she broke down the other day, and I just know that she is in a bad place. Well, she has a dog, and I was like, oh my gosh, I saw this thing, just happened to be browsing on Amazon, as I do way too often, and I found a dog pool, and I was like, oh my gosh, this would be perfect for her dog. So I bought that. And then I was like, well, shoot, like, okay, I'm buying something for her dog, I need to get something for her. So I actually took one of our boxes, our Be Kind to Your Mind boxes, but I modified it slightly because I had a book that I really wanted to give her. And it was a journal that said, Let That Shit Go. That's what it's called. I had originally bought it for myself a long time ago, but I never use it. And I was like, why is it just sitting here? Because I'm not using it. And she really needs to let that shit go. So I put it in the box along with all the other cool things that we put in our subscription box and left it on our doorstep. And I was like, go check that. So that was the other thing that I did. And I'm trying to find creative, crafty ways. And I was thinking about just going to the grocery store and buying a bunch of gift cards to like random places. And then if for whatever reason I happen to go through a drive-through and there's nobody behind me, and or like Dutch Brothers, you can't pay for the people behind you because they take it like they're standing outside, I can just hand them a gift card and say, hey, the next person that comes through here, please give them the opportunity to buy whatever they want using this gift card. And they could be like $5 gift cards. So that was my other thing. So Wealth Wednesday. So that's my third thing, is to do Wealth Wednesday. And then practice what you preach. So for me, it's really hard. I tend to be really good at telling everybody else what to do, but I don't practice what I preach. And that's why this weekend I was like, you know what? I am taking Saturday and Sunday off because you know what? I don't have anything to do for the first time in a really long time. And so I'm going to take it off and I'm going to spend time with my family because my family deserves me. And that's why I'm working so hard, because my big goal is to be with family. For so long I've been doing so much, and especially with BCC Evolution. I, again, going on 3 years, I have not really like paid myself. I also just want to give back as much as I can. And this year we really have a direction, which is really exciting. And that's why I know it's so valuable. So family time is important. Practicing what I preach. Don't be a stickler. Actually have fun. I my partner the other day told me that I'm boring. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I am pretty boring. And I am not the life of the party anymore. And I kind of suck at this thing that I'm doing called life. And that's not okay. Like, I want to be silly. I want to be goofy. Like, that's who I am. But I lost a lot of that along the way, especially after my sister passed. Whew. Dang it. It always gets me. But I used to be silly with her all the time. We used to, and my mom can attest to this. My whole family can. We used to dance in the living room all the time. We used to dance in the kitchen all the time. That was just our thing. And I lost that a lot. I have, not on that arm, but on this arm, I have the words, dance is a hidden language of the soul, because actually, interestingly enough, I have that down here. This pillow, I got this out today. My sister loved void spares, and dance was like our thing, right? Like her and I. And after she passed, like I just stopped. I just couldn't do it anymore because it wasn't with her. So until my son got a little bit older and he could walk and he like started dancing, and I was like, oh man, I miss this so much. I mean, I noticed myself the other day like pulling up all these dance videos, and I was like, I'm jamming. Like, I love Justin Timberlake. Like, I love him. Great dancer. And I was jamming to his music, and I was like, oh my God, this is what it feels like to move my body. And that's where last year, with Transformation Academy, we ended up doing a glass. We walked on glass. And for me, that was the scariest thing that I have ever done. And I don't like, we went skydiving, we walked on fire, we were hanging out with reptiles. Like, there was so much going on. And every single one of those challenges, I was like, I got this. I'm not scared. And then the glass came out, and I was like, I lost my shiznit. Like I was like, no, 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 I can't do this. And I figured out that day it was because I lost the trust in my own body and I lost the trust in my feet because I used to dance. And that's what held me up. And I lost all of that trust along the way. And that was one of the biggest breakthroughs that I've ever had in my lifetime. And I finally realized like I wasn't living. I sure maybe a little bit, but not as much as I wanted to. I also realized last year that all of this busy that I happen to be is nowhere in alignment with my goals because my goals are to be with family. And that's what wholeheartedly me being silly, being goofy, being the fun loving person that I know I could be. And I lost that somewhere along the way. So, um, back to my long-winded story. Practice what you preach. Have a little fun. Dance a little bit. My son and I have been the last couple of days, and it's just fun. It's so fun, and I look at him and I giggle. So, and last thing is words are important. So a lot of times you will hear me say completed. Not a lot of times. I always say completed suicide because my sister completed suicide. She did not commit a crime. She completed the act of suicide. And so words are important. If I'm going to sit around and say that I'm broke and I live in this scarcity place, like that's probably what's going to happen. But that's not me. Like I live in abundance now. I live in love. I have an amazing family. I have all the things that I possibly need. And what will happen will happen. And I have to give that to this energy that I'm creating, right? And so words are important. If I believe that I'm abundant and I say that I'm abundant and that I say all these things, it will come true. Just like doing these 10 days, right? I know that we can get there. Right now, we are at $385 of the 5,000 that I'm trying to raise. And I want that abundance and I want that time and I want that energy to be spent towards you. And I truly believe in this cause and I truly believe in you. And I know that I can help you and I know that I can give back to so many people. So that is why I am doing this. It's not a fly by the seat of my pants. I just made this up yesterday. This is 3 years in the making. And I know that what I'm doing is great and needed. And that's why I'm asking you to help me out. So hopefully this was helpful for you today. I saw some little signal things, so maybe I dropped you along the way. I really hope that this recorded the whole time. But the first thing, so exercise. Yes, as cliche as it may sound, try to do Kinergy. I'll drop the links. Super awesome. If you get a chance, I would totally try it. It's not even like exercise, and it's just fun. The other thing is release. Find a way to release your happy juices. And then with that, practice gratitude. Try the Tony Robbins priming technique. Again, I'll drop that in the link so that you have access to it. It's 15 minutes per day, and I tell you, it is going to change your life. And then practice what you preach. This is what I tell myself. I need to practice what I preach, and words are important. Don't live in scarcity. Don't live in fear. Tell yourself that you're not scared. Tell yourself that you live in abundance and that you live in love. And I trust you, or not the right words. Words are important. I'm telling you, it will dramatically change your whole situation if you just stop thinking negatively and start thinking positively. So that's what I've got for you today. And that was a lot longer than I was going to go. And I'm totally late to a meeting. So I will talk with you all later.